my job.
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go.
Just one way to look at it.
Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session with the announcement docket set for the day of July 27th, 2022. First case that we have is cause number 330-546. Case is style the state of Texas versus Hernan Chavez or is it Hernan Sanchez Chavez?
Correct. Sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. Hernan Chavez Sanchez.
Mr. Chavez, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, and thanks for being patient with us this morning, Mr. Chavez.
No, no problem, sir.
Okay, Mr. Chavez, you're here, represented by your attorney, James Paget. Attorney Paget, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Your Honor.
State is represented by Attorney Terrence Coleman. Attorney Coleman, how are you doing?
Good job.
Mr. Paget, what is your announcement in Mr. Chavez's case?
Your Honor, I have received an offer. Weapon. Mr. Chavez, the reason this case is dragged on. So
Okay.
I just now, within the past month, got back with him. Our communication is good again. He was in custody in Webb County for quite some time. So if you would allow us 30 days, I'll relay this offer. I'm quite certain we can dispose of this case, Your Honor.
Okay, give us a reset date. Okay, Mr. Chavez, your case will be reset to October 19th. Stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. Again, thanks for being patient with us. You're free to go.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
you're
You
welcome.
have a blessed day. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
You just signed.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready. You know what is that, Garza?
Goes up, G-O-Z.
Look at them, it's already. The pin out, look at that. Uh-oh, I'm sorry.
The glass that block was.
Yeah, we ordered one.
Next case is the Coleman, cause number 330-526. Mr. Coleman is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Coleman, you can take your mic off of mute. Mr. Coleman, how are you doing?
I'm all right, yourself?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Coleman, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. James Paget, who is the president in court. Mr. Paget, what is your announcement in Mr. Coleman's case?
Your Honor, it looks like we're gonna need to place this case on your trial docket.
Okay, give us a reset date. Okay, this case will be reset to November 7th of 2022 for trial. Mr. Coleman, stay in contact with your attorney, Mr. Paget. Mr. Paget and your bondsman will be given notice of your reset date, so stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. This will conclude your case. Thanks for being patient with us, and you are free to go. You have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Thank
And I think the attorney wants you to call.
I'll call him, no problem. Thank you, though. I appreciate your
Okay.
help, Your Honor. Sometimes.
All right, thank you.
All right, and you're free to go. You have a blessed day. You get your reset for your reset.
Yes, Your Honor.
Next case is cause number 326-562. The case is style the state of Texas versus Leslie Perkins. Mr. Perkins is present in court. Mr. Perkins, would you please come forward? This is cause number 326-562. Case is style the state of Texas versus Leslie Perkins. Mr. Perkins, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Perkins, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Perkins? I'm doing fine. And Mr. Perkins, thanks for being patient with us today. Mr. Perkins, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney James Paget. Attorney Paget, do you waive a record in Mr. Perkins'
Yes,
case?
Your Honor.
Mr. Perkins, I have before me a document, is titled Amended Information Order. Now, this amended information alleges that on or about May 1st of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. Mr. Perkins, do you understand what you've been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Perkins, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, no contest? Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Mr. Perkins, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishment. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Perkins, there are a set of initials on a line next to box says check guilty. The initials are LHP. Mr. Perkins, did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, Mr. Perkins, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Perkins, is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, Mr. Perkins, that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Perkins, is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
We had a discovery certification.
I'm happy to refrain if you need me to.
No, it was right in the, oh, I know what it is. Have it right here. You'll allow me to step right over here. I apologize. Just had it in my hand.
Okay, Mr. Perkins, I have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Perkins, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Paget, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir. I did.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Perkins, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, sir. State Harbor States one.
Any
No
objections?
objection, Chairman.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Paget, you've advised in counsel, Mr. Perkins, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None, Your Honor.
Mr. Perkins, your attorney, Mr. Paget has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Oh, yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Perkins, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea in this case, Judge, we're recommending a fine only of $800.
And he did any credit for any time?
He does have 2 days
2
credit.
days.
I think Mr. Paget has a motion or a request of the court on that.
Your Honor, I would request that my client be given credit for the 2 days time that he served in the Jefferson County Jail in accordance with this case.
Okay, so go toward the fine and court costs?
Yes, Your Honor, that would
Okay.
be the defense's request.
Okay, now, Mr. Perkins, the state is offering that you serve, that you pay $800 fine plus court costs. The court cost in this case is $292. the court is gonna give you credit for 2 days that you've already served in this case, which means that, instead of paying a total balance of $1,092, you'll be required to pay $892. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, that payment is to be made today. Okay? And will you be able to pay that today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Perkins, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Oh, yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Perkins, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Perkins, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our clerk. And once you finish following the directions of our clerk, you'll be free to go and make your payment, and you have to bring the receipt back up to, to the
Just
court,
bring it right up here, we'll be.
so that clerk will be able to get it. All right?
Put your right hand in the-
Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Paget, I think this is your last case?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm just gonna hang around till he gets back.
Okay. Yeah,
Just to make sure.
Okay. He knows what to pay.
I'm gonna tell you.
Also, yes, we have- okay.